everybody watching and listening, and welcome to our first official episode of Inside the Cougar Cavern. Today we have TSgt Cody Cardinal. Sergeant Cardinal, why don't you introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm TSgt Cardinal. I'm returning to the 94th. I just finished a 4-year instructor tour at Goodfellow. I'm a Pashto linguist. I'm married. My wife, Tech Sergeant Rebecca Thompson, is in the 34th. She's a Chinese linguist. We don't have children, but we've got 2 dogs, a bulldog and a Sheltie. I run a lot of miles and I drink a lot of coffee, and I'm trying to read more books.
Awesome. Well, thanks for giving me your time today, so I can get to know you a little bit better, and then those in the squadron that don't know you yet can get to know you a little bit better too. So we'll kick it off. What isn't real that you desperately wish was real?
That's a tough one. A lot. There's a lot of things that I wish I could have. Probably the most realistic, or what I hope to be soon to be, is like bionic technology. I would love to have like a bionic eye with like zoom capabilities, or like bionic hearing would be great. That would be pretty great. I want to be a cyborg, I guess. Like, give me all of the artificial everything, and it
I
would be
like
great.
that. I would pick hearing. I'm an audible person, so I think, yeah, getting to, like, what is it? Those big satellite dish microphone things that let you hear conversate, like the spy. I want that. So if you find out that it's available, let me know.
Yeah, I'll sign up for all of like the initial trials that I can.
You'll be like, I'll be the guinea pig for all of these things. What's the most heartwarming thing that you've ever witnessed?
These are tough questions.
Yeah, I know.
They're good questions, and not at all what I was expecting. The most heartwarming thing that I've ever witnessed. I probably don't have specific examples, being on the spot and all, but something that I do find heartwarming is like the relationship between animals and humans. Plenty of videos of like deer being stuck in a fence, and old burly men that you wouldn't expect like get out of the car and try really hard to help the animal out. So I think that kind of compassion, when you see it, is rare, and because it's rare, it's heartwarming.
I agree. I love our furry friends, and like you, when you were describing that video, I could picture it. And I grew up in a family that's full of hunters, and I agree. Seeing, people stop their lives to help animals in need is definitely heartwarming. Especially if they extend that kind of compassion to other humans, I think is
Right.
heartwarming
I was
too.
going to say, it's not really even limited to animals. It's just the selflessness that it takes to, like you said, just stop what you're doing and help something or someone else. I mean, it's virtuous. We should all do it more often.
Yeah, I think we could all do it more often. And I also, I like to find the good or assume the good in everybody. So I like to think that some of that's instinctual, and that, we're all kind of built to do that type of thing. But when the moment, shows itself, we'll see how virtuous we are. All right, here's one that's not so serious. How do you feel about garden gnomes?
We have one. It says "Go away."
Is it in a garden, or is it in your house?
It is not necessarily in a garden, but it's outside in front of our front steps in like a mulchy area by a tree. It's guarding our front door.
Does it look like the type of gnome that would say "go away," or is it like the typical friendly garden gnome that's just holding like an out of character sign?
I would say a little of both. It's a typical garden gnome that looks a little grumpy.
Nice. That's how I feel. Like, I need one of those garden gnomes outside my house. Go away. Not that we have like unsolicited visitors, but just the thought of it grosses me out.
I don't like people. I don't like delivery drivers like coming into my door. Just leave it at the end of the driveway. I'll come and get it.
That's probably the greatest thing like in my personal life, with regards to the global pandemic, is that I don't have to talk to my DoorDash drivers anymore, only via text. But yeah, just leave it on the steps and I'll pick it up.
Mm-hmm. And in our house now, we have a big window that looks right at our front door. So when DoorDash or Amazon come up, I can wave at them through the window so that they know I've seen them. They don't knock on my door.
Nice. It's a nice, like, socially distant interaction with people, like through a window. All right, what irrational fear do you have?
Maybe bugs.
All of them?
Just bugs in places where they shouldn't be. I like walking through the house at night. I wouldn't say I'm afraid, but I certainly wouldn't be happy if I stepped on a crunchy bug in the middle of the night.
I'm with you. I don't want to step on anything in the middle of the night. We've got crickets. Like, we've got some crickets downstairs, and just the sound of them annoys the crap out of me. Like, yeah, I'm not afraid. It just, I don't know. It just makes me unnerved, I guess, to think that there's bugs anywhere indoors.
And I guess a better answer, as I think about it, would be things falling apart. So we owned our house in San Angelo. It's the first house that I've ever owned, the last one for a good long while. And every time the house made a noise of any sort, it was like existential dread that the house was falling apart, and it was stressful.
And it didn't, right? For the
No,
record.
it did not fall apart. And even here, like, we're renting now, but we have an air pump downstairs in our water softening system, and it started running constantly, and that was like, well, the house is a goner.
This is it. Burn it down.
Let's just move out. Yeah.
I'm like that too, and we live in our first home that we've owned. Now we've lived in it for going on 7 years, but they had remodeled the entire inside, like gutted it and remodeled the inside. And when houses, even new houses settle a bit, you sometimes see like the head of a nail poking out underneath the paint.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think the first 6 months to a year we lived in the house, I would just walk around and point things out and say, this is it. We bought a lemon, burn it down, get rid of it. All hope is lost. So I don't think it's irrational. I'm with you. Maybe other people would. All right. Well, that's all the questions that I have for you. I'm going to turn it over to you. Any parting thoughts or words of wisdom that you want to share with anyone watching or listening?
So this was the only question that I saw coming, because you had interviewed my wife before. So this is the only one that I was able to give some thought and some premeditation to. And it was still hard to come up with one thing. So as an instructor in my time on podium, I was lucky to have plenty of time to impart wisdom on the next generation of airmen, which was fantastic. And so there are a lot of little bullet points that I like to talk about, like leading people, not airmen, and doing what's right. And I think it's the second one that I find more important, to do what you think is right always. And when you're wrong, which you will be, to have the courage to admit it, the compassion to understand, and the commitment to change.
I love it. And I like those 3 words, and so does the commander. So I'll let her know that she must have stolen that from you. But admitting when you're wrong is definitely a tough thing, but we all are at some point. And I think that's a good message, is, do what you think is right. Don't compromise, what you believe, because someone else is telling you it's different. So I appreciate it. I think you chose well. And look, you did do your homework. So I appreciate it for sure. And I enjoyed interviewing you and getting to know you a little bit better. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. So thanks.
Thank you. You too.